Hi everyone, welcome to our webinar. Welcome to Getting to Know TalentLMS. This is the webinar that will get you started with TalentLMS. So join us if you would like to see how you can deliver successful training just by setting up your account, creating your courses, and of course, delivering the training. Let's get started. We have a lot to talk about today. My name is Theo. I am part of the customer education team, and I will be hosting this session today alongside my good colleague Eirini.
Hello, everybody. My name is Eirini, and I'm also part of the customer education team. And I'm here with Theo to help you get started with TalentLMS and deliver successful training.
And you will hear from Eirini a lot more in a moment. But now let's do just a few things before we get into how you can get started with TalentLMS. First, one thing that I would let you know is that this session is recorded. You will receive the recording once the session is over. So keep an eye to your inbox the next day so that way you can see the recording. And of course, feel free to share it with anybody who wants to know how to get started with TalentLMS. Now, another thing as well. During this webinar, you will be able to answer your questions. So feel free to use the Q&A button and of course, ask any question that you would like to know about TalentLMS. During the session, our team will be able to answer your questions. And of course, we are looking forward to receiving what you would like to know about TalentLMS. So let's get started. And of course, what we want to make sure is that you have a good outline of what the session will be today. So first, we will see how you can organize and configure your TalentLMS account. And then it's all about courses. We want to show you how you can create blended courses and share them with the users. And lastly, results matter, right? So we want to know how you can measure your results, and you will be able to do that with a robust reporting system that TalentLMS offers. Before anything, before we jump into the account, before we start pressing buttons, what TalentLMS is. And I know that you already are familiar with it a little bit. That's why we're here. But let me just tell you this. TalentLMS is an award-winning cloud learning management system, LMS. And this is very popular with anybody who wants to create training for their own staff, their own customers, their own partners, and do all of that from the same platform, from the same account. And to be very fair, TalentLMS is intuitive. It is easy to use. It is fully customizable. And it's very easy to learn and deliver training as a trainer and, of course, as a learner who will receive the courses you create. We have more than 70,000 teams who already use TalentLMS to deliver successful training. So if you want to be part of that team, part of that family of people who deliver training using TalentLMS, please join us and stay with us. Now, let's see the first thing that somebody will see when you invite them to your portal. And of course, I'm talking about the login page. The login page is what we call the home page. It is the entry point for everybody on your platform. Fully customizable. You can really apply your branding, your colors, and of course, you can make it look like anything else that you offer from your organization in terms of color, in terms of the feeling, the aesthetic. And you can add featured courses. You can highlight courses that people can pick, and of course, they can take during the training that you offer in the platform. The homepage can be a point that you will just pick their interest a little bit with the courses that you will highlight before even the login on the homepage. And of course, it has room for a menu. You can create a menu with extra pages, extra links that people can navigate to. And of course, they can explore more of your offerings before even logging in into your portal. And what happens when they log in? They become a learner. The learner is the person who will be receiving the training that you create. And the learner can see the courses that they are assigned to them, and they can also browse the course catalog that they will be able to go ahead, pick and choose what courses they want to take, and then take the training. They can also see their own progress reports. And of course, if you offer instructor-led training, if you offer live classes, they will be able to see a calendar with all of the available events that they would be able to find there. So the learner view is a dashboard, and it's where everybody can explore all the potential that you offer them when it comes to training. Now, I know that we have already a lot in mind, so let me just get started. So we're going to jump together into the portal, and let's do it right here. So the first thing that you have to do, customize the site. Let's jump onto the account settings. Of course, the account settings are accessible from the administrator. So at this point, you are seeing the administrator's dashboard. What we have to do is, first of all, get to the basics. So the basic settings, and we have to adjust the logo. Then the logo will always be visible on the very top left of your portal. So that is very important to be very clear, and of course, something that you would like to stay there at all times. If you want, you can always adjust the language under locale. There, you have the option to adjust the default language of your portal, which means that this is what everybody will see your portal in. And you also have an option to add custom fields. What are custom fields? Let's go all the way to the bottom of the page and let's see how we can add extra information about the users. For example, when you create a user or when you add a user, you have their first name, the last name, their email, all of the standard details that you would expect to be needed from somebody who registers your account. But what if you would like to declare the location they are? Or maybe you would like to have, let's say, the job title they have. Let's go with job title. So you can create a custom fields where you can include more information about your users, and that information will be visible in their profile. They need to fill it up upon registration. And of course, this is something that you can use in notifications and of course in reports. And then we get to the homepage. The homepage, remember, we called it the login page before. That's the very first thing that somebody would see when they join your account, basically when they get to join your account. So what we need to do here is work with the sections. You don't need to be a developer. All you have to do is choose the right section, and from there, upload the banner if you like, add the featured courses you want, and of course, make sure that you can always add a welcome video, text, and definitely play around with the settings to see how many different options you have to customize your custom homepage. And let's go to the users. This is where we start making decisions that will affect the users. You can allow people to sign up in different ways. You have the option to manually upload the users, which means that the manual sign up method is based on you to add the users to the account, to provide them with the credentials, and then, of course, to wait for them to log in. Or you can have the default options where you can allow people to create their own accounts into your portal without you having to upload them or add them in any way. And of course, when you choose the direct sign-up method, then that is something that you can verify based on the options that you choose. Most probably, you might want to choose email verification, so you know that the users have a valid email address that they can access anytime. And one more last thing from me before I jump back to Eirini. Let's get creative. Let's talk about themes. So with themes, you have a list of ready-made themes if you would like to choose one of the existing ones, and if you feel that the existing themes can work for you. But why not create your own? So you can reflect your branding, and you can create a new theme, give it a name, and of course, adjust the colors to match your brand identity. It's always something that you can change. You can create more than one themes if you want. And of course, when you're ready, you will be able to have everything matching your branding of your company and your portal as well. But let's talk about certificates and let's jump back to Eirini. What are certificates, Eirini?
Thank you, Theo. Well, certificates, it's the diplomas its user earns after completing a course. It's not necessary to have certificates for each course, but it's nice to have for courses that conclude a topic of training. You can also customize the certificates. So let's jump back into the platform. So we're going to click certificates here. And you can associate a certification template per course. So when users complete the course, they receive that certificate. We have a variety of backgrounds that you can select by clicking the arrows here, but you can also upload your own background that would represent more your brand and your colors. Apart from the background, you can also change the template. I know that this is an HTML coding, but you only have to worry about the black letters here. You also see the smart text below. The green ones are the default ones, and the blue and the orange ones are the smart text that we have created for our custom fields. So you can also use the smart text to populate users' information on the certificate too. So you can make that certificate more personal to the user. And that is all about the certificate, but I have another thing for you, gamification. Now, the gamification is a way to make training more fun. It's a feature that Talent LMS has, and it's a good practice to be set up at the beginning because nothing will work retrospectively. The gamification is offering the users points, badges, levels, rewards, and the leaderboard. And basically, it engages the users to spend more time with the portal by earning points, by earning badges. And this way, training becomes more fun. And at the end of the day, you have more engaged users with their training. But I think that Theo has some more settings for us. So let's get back into Theo and see what else he has in store for us.
Thank you, Eirini. So let's see a couple more settings, and then we will talk about course creation. So the settings that I would like to draw your attention to is notifications. I know that this is not exactly a setting, this is a feature, but in the suggestion that we have for you today is to consider notifications as part of your settings when you're getting started with TalentLMS. So let's go back to our admin dashboards and click on Add a Notification. When you add a notification, essentially you create an automated email which will be sent to the right participants, and that will happen based on the event that you will choose. So all notifications work in the same way, but of course you need to choose a different event and change the recipient and the body of the notification as well. Let's see, for example, here you have lots of different events. You see me scrolling right now. And the one that I want to actually show you today is something that would really help you when you create courses. And courses can have an expiration date, so you can send a notification to people to warn them about the potential expiration of those courses. So let's click and select number of hours before course expires. Now here, what we want to make sure is that the learners will receive the notification. So in the recipients, we will choose related user. The related user is the person who is subjected to the event that you choose. And of course, in this case, are the learners who have not completed the course before it expires. So let's select that then, and let's go to the body. The body is where we create the email template of that notification. So the first line is always the subject line. So let's type, your course is about to expire soon. And then we can always create the body of the email, so what the people will see. Let's say hi, and I'm just gonna paste something here. Yep, I think that will do. But so let's make it a little bit more personable, right? So we wanna include that person's first name. So next to hi, just place your cursor and give it a space and click on the smart tags that you see below. So if you click first name, there you will be able to select the first name user, the user's first name, and then that will actually populate in that notification as well. So you can still make it personable, and then of course you can use the rest of the smart tags below. For example, if you're talking about the course will be available for a limited time, which course are we talking about? So let's do the same. Place a cursor next to course, again, give it a space, and click on the course name smart tag so you can populate that information as well. That was just my tip of the notifications, and I'm going to get back to you, Eirini, to start with the courses.
Thank you, Theo. So let's create our first course together. And I have already switched as an instructor. So what you see here is the instructor's dashboard. And I'm going to click here, add course. Now, before we start adding content in our courses, we need to make a basic setup from the course setting page of the course. So first things first, we need to give our course a name. So we're going to call it, let's say, onboarding hybrid hires. And we can also add this course in a category. The categories are here to help us organize our course catalog, and they work ideal as filters for the courses. So I'm just gonna select one. Let's go for this one. Now, we also have a description box. This is an area where you can write a bit of info about the courses. For example, many people write the estimated time that the user should allocate on their calendar to complete the courses. For example, 30 minutes. And also here on the side, we can select an image and of course upload an image to add our branding even to our courses. Further down, we have this field, course code. Now, by default, the courses are displayed for the learner alphabetically. But if you have a course code, the alphabetical order will happen based on the code and not the name. The course code could be letters, could be numbers, or a combination of both. Going further down, time options. Now we have two options here, the duration and the time limit. If you have a specific deadline and you want all users, no matter when they enrolled in the course, to have completed it by then you can add an expiration date in the duration, add your date here. And if the users don't manage to complete the course by that time, then the course expires and they no longer have access to the course. This is great for time-sensitive courses, maybe before a new product launch. But what if you don't know the exact expiration date? What if you have new hires? That means new onboarding dates. Then in this case, we can go for the time limit. In the time limit, we just set the amount of days that the user will have access to the course from the day they get enrolled in that course. So it's same as the expiration date. If the time limit has passed and the user hasn't completed the courses, they will not be able to access it anymore. Going further down, certificate. This is where we will attach our certificate. Remember that we created together a certificate from the account and settings? Well, we're going to select it from here. And this one will be given to our users when they complete the course. And for the compliance features, we also have a cool feature. If there is a need for courses to be repeated within the year, what you can do is set up a certification duration. Let's go for the 6 months here. And then the reassign automation will be revealed here. So if we check this automation, the system will do the reassignment on our behalf when the certificate expires. All we have to do is select when that reassignment would be. It could be on certificate expiration, 1 week before, or 30 days before. And now that we're done with the course setting page, we're going to click Save and select users. And on the next page, we have a list of all the users we have in our system. And from here, with the plus icon, we can add more learners, or we can also add more admins and instructors that will have the role of the instructor and help us build the course. But let's get back to the course tab, and then we will go to the course content, because right now we're going to add content in our courses. Now, a course is made out of units, and the user should complete the units to get to the end of the course and get the certificate we added. To add units, you can simply drag and drop your files from your computer in this area here, like PowerPoints, presentations, and images, or you can simply click the Add button and add them one by one. Now, let's add a presentation. So I'm just drag and drop this presentation here. And in this case, my unit, the name of my unit follows the name of my file, but of course I can change that at any point. So let's click Edit and see what we can do. The first thing we see is the unit name. From here, we can definitely adjust the title, and then we see how to complete it. Here we have 3 options. With a checkbox, which is basically a complete button that the learner will need to click in order to move on. With a question, it can be only one question that the user will need to answer successfully, or after a period of time where you add a time limit here, and basically there will be a clock counting backwards on the bottom of that file, and when the time limit is over, then the user can move on. Let's go with a checkbox here. This is my presentation, so I can definitely have a preview. And if I click Save and View, on the next page, I have a preview of that unit. I will experience what my learners will experience when they click that unit. So my users would normally read through the training material of that presentation. They would click Complete, and this is how they would move on into the next unit. Now, let's see what else we got here. Let's add a video, but instead of adding a video, let's clone a video. here on the bottom, we have this functionality cloning from another course. This is a great feature that will help us recycle units that we have in other courses. So there's no need to create them from scratch. The clone functionality will create a replica of that unit, a total independent unit that I can definitely edit without affecting the original one. So I'm just going to click clone here and select this video from this course like this and add it here on my course. You can see the evidence of cloning here. So let's click edit and see what we can do. The first thing that I'm going to do is remove the evidence, of course. And when it comes to videos, we can either upload YouTube links by clicking here and pasting the URL, or we can upload our own videos if we click use a video. Now, for our own videos, we have some extra options here. So if we click options, we can check on the autoplay, we can check to show the playback speed option, or even show captions. But we have also two extra features here. If on how to complete it, I click after a period of time, two more options will show up here. Synchronize timer with video, which basically will synchronize the time limit with the timer of the video here on the bottom, and auto pause when video changes in tab. This is a feature that compliance teams loves. So if I click save and view, this feature will prevent any user to skip this video. It's not possible to move forward. It's not possible to change tabs and watch something else because the video will pause. And the user will need to watch the whole thing before they move on into the next unit. But that's enough with the content. Let's see how we can evaluate users. Let's add a test. So I'm just going to click here, add test. And this way you can create an automated test where the users will know right away the results and will have passed the course on the spot or not. Here on the side, we have the different type of questions that we can add. So we can simply add a question. Let's go for the multiple choice. I'm simply adding a question here. And here we can give our answers like this. And of course, we need to check which is the correct one. Click save, and this is how our question is added on our test. But what if we want to save time? Well, if we click show questions from all courses, we can reuse questions that other courses have, and by clicking the add button, add them in our test. Also, we can change the question order by clicking here on the side, set question order, just simply drag and drop the questions. And we also have the test options where we can change the passing score, we can add a duration to our test, shuffle questions, possible answers, and we have some extra settings about repetitions, completions, security, or even add description or a message for our learners, depending if they have passed or not the test. Now, if I click save, on the next page, I have a preview of that test. So I can test it myself like my learner would do that. So I'm just adding the answers like that. And here are the results. Now, what about the assignments, which is another way of evaluating our users? Well, let's add an assignment like this. Here, the user has the option to submit an answer that will be manually evaluated by the instructor. It's a unit, so we need to give that a name. So in the assignment name, we're going to give the name, let's say, exam. And here in this description box, we will be adding the topic of this assignment, something like that. And what we need to decide now is how to complete this assignment. We have two options. When instructor accepts the answer, that means that when the user will submit their answer, they will be in a pending status, waiting for the instructor's evaluation before they can move on. But if I click when uploading an answer, when a learner submits their answer, the system will consider this assignment as passed, so the learner can move on into the next units. However, the instructor will also need to evaluate that submission. So let's go with the first option and click Save and View. And on the next page, I have a preview of that assignment, and I have the different ways that a user can submit their answer. I'm just going to go with uploading a file like this. And here it is. I'm into the pending status, waiting for my instructor to evaluate my assignment. But how do instructors evaluate those assignments? Well, if we go back into the unit list and hover right next to the assignment, we'll see this button submissions. So if we click here, we have the answer. Of course, it's me. And if we click here, we can grade, change the passing score, or even add the feedback for our learners. And this is how we evaluate the users and their submissions.
Thank you, Eirini. And I'm pretty sure that anybody who was trying to follow along Eirini's presentation, you already got a glimpse of what you can do when we were working with units and when you were clicking on the different types of units that Eirini suggested. But one question for you, Eirini. We are now used to the hybrid mode of working and maybe living. Is there a way that we can use TalentLMS to deliver on-site training, but at the same time, maybe remote training as well? How does that work for hybrid teams?
Well, that's a great question, Theo, and I'm happy that you brought that up. Yes, this is something that we can have in Talent LMS. We can have content, but also live sessions that will be part of our course. So let me go back again into the unit list. So from here, what we need to do is click the Add button and go all the way down and add instructor-led training. Or ILTs, as we call them. So again, it's a unit. So we need to give that unit a name. Let's type in live training. And here we have the calendar. So what we need to do is pick the date. Let's go for this date here. Now, what comes next, once we have picked up the date, is this window where we need to give our session a name. Let's paste this. I'm going to leave the date and time as it is. And we can also add the instructor. Now here, the instructor is the host basically of this live session. So the more instructors you have added from the users tab on the course setting page, the more options you will have here. So I'm just going to leave myself as it is. And here on the type, we need to decide if this session will be on site or if it's going to be a remote one. I'm just going to go with the remote one. So I'm going to select webinar and click create a new webinar. I can also adjust the duration and also add a description, some information of what this session is about. And if we click add session, now our session is added in our calendar. And if we click Save and View, on the next page, we can preview the registration page. So basically see what our learners will see. All the information of the session can be found here, the date, the time, who the host is. And here, this button will say register for our learners. So all they need to do is just click register, and 15 minutes before the ILT starts, this join button will be highlighted. The learners will click it and access the conference environment so they can participate on the live session. I hope that helps, and I guess I'm done with the course now, but Theo, how can we share the courses with the users?
That's a great question, Eirini. So let me talk to you about two main features that administrators can use to organize the users and, of course, share the courses with the users. So let's switch back to the admin dashboards and let's talk about groups. With groups, you can bring together learners who need to be assigned to a common set of courses. For example, you might want to have groups based on your departments, or you might want to have groups based on the types of training, compliance training, soft skills training, new hire training, mandatory training if you want. So you can create groups as bundles of courses that you can assign to a lot of people at the same time with just a few clicks. So let's create one group together and let's call that new hires. That is the group that will contain the courses that all new hires should take quite at the early stages of their employment. So we will create the new hires group, just give it a name, and then we will jump into adding courses first. So let's go to the courses tab and let's click on the plus icon and select the course that we want to share. For example, That's what I'm doing here. And then let's go to the users. Now, you have added the courses, and then you need to choose which users will take those courses. So start clicking again on the plus icon next to the users that you want to find. And there you have it. Now we have added the courses and we have added the users into the group. One final step here. On the top right, click on the Mass Actions button and click Enroll Users to the group courses. So that means you can, at the same time now, assign all of those courses to all of those users with just one click. So this is how you can use groups to make sure that lots of courses are assigned to lots of people very quickly and easily. But now let me talk to you about another feature, the branches. The branches is the feature that everybody who wants to offer training to multiple audiences would need to use. For example, you want to train your partners, your customers, your vendors, and your internal training at the same portal. This is where branches come to the rescue. You can create different training environments with their own users, their own courses, and of course, their own admins and instructors. And anybody who has access to a branch, they will only be able to see the contents that is shared within the branch. So branches are independent from each other, but of course, you can always manage everything under your main account. So let's create a branch. For example, we're going to create a branch for vendor and supplier training. So I'm just going to call it, you guessed it, vendor and supplier. And then you will see that the name is also included in the dedicated URL of the branch. So that is the link that now users will need to use to log in into the branch. Remember, the branches are independent from your main account, so they have their own link. And then, of course, you can work with the rest of the settings. The design of the branch, the theme of the branch, the logo of the branch, different localization settings, and of course, you have the option to go all the way down and save. Now, one thing that you might also notice is that the branches can have different user settings, so feel free to explore those. Different homepage for the branch, of course, it's a different link, so it points to a different page, and then you can again jump to the courses and add the related courses. I'm going to add some right now. And those courses will be available in the branch to be used on the course catalog and of course to be assigned to the users. And then in the users tab, I'm going to add a couple of other people in the branch. Again, you can always add more if you want. I'm just adding some for the example today. And now those people will need to log in from the dedicated link of the branch and then access the content of the branch as they need. So working in TalentLMS, as you can see, is a team sport, exactly like the webinars that we bring to you. So Eirini, how can we work with user types? How can we bring our team in TalentLMS?
So since you mentioned user types, so far you've seen two of them, the admin who makes the decisions, adjusts the settings, and organizes the account. In other words, that's Theo today. And the instructor who I have been using to create courses and add content for the users. Now, together, we're going to see how to adjust the permissions of any user. So I'm just going to borrow the role of admin from Theo. And in this case, we're going to do it for existing user types. So we're going to click here, user types, and we're going to go into the existing learner who is only here to take our training. As you can see, for the different levels of permissions, we have checkboxes with more detailed permissions. If we expand the nest, you can be even more specific with what you want to allow or remove. But as we said, we are going to edit our learner. So let's remove the course catalog permission, which will remove the course catalog button from their dashboard. I'm just going to uncheck it like this and click Save. And that's it. But how can I follow up on that? Well, usually someone would log out and log in as a different user to find out. But we have another shortcut for you. If we go back with the home button and click on the users, here we have the list of all the users we have in the system. All we need to do is find a user that has that assigned user type. Let's go for this one. And if I hover over here, we have this button, log into account. If I click it, right now, I'm impersonating this person here. As you can see, the course catalog button is removed from the dashboard. That means that I have successfully removed that permission. And if I want to go back to my account, there's no need to log out and log in again. All I have to do is just click this revert button here, and I'm back the admin of the account. So no need for me to log out and log in or remember extra credentials, just impersonate someone. And just a tip here, just to be on the safe side, create a test account and impersonate the test account. Because when you impersonate someone, every click matters. So if you save something, it will look like that user did it. So just use a test account to do all the proper follow-ups. But how do we add users in the system? Well, if we go here, we can click Add Users and fill in the details of their profile. Make sure to have unique username and email, as duplicates are not allowed. But I have a question for you, Theo. What if we have a large database? What about any mass imports, something that you mentioned at the beginning, if I'm not mistaken?
Yes, that's right. You can definitely do mass import in TalentLMS. And of course, that is one of our key features if you want to save time as an admin. So let's get back to the admin dashboards and let's click on the import. So in the imports, you have an option to download the sample Excel file. So all you have to do here is be very good at copying and pasting. Once the Excel file has opened up, you will be able to see that we have different tabs, different sheets: users, courses, branches, groups, users to courses, users to branches. Of course, we don't need to worry about all of them today. Today, we are just getting started. So what we want to focus is the very first tab, which is the user tab. So are you ready to copy paste? Get an export of the user list that you have from your HRIS system, your database, your CRM, anywhere that you can get a list of the people you want to add into your portal, and start filling in the details into the user's sheet. For example, the login name, the username, and then their first name, the last name, and the email. You have the option to add bio as well, which is always a field that you can populate with related information on their profile, but you can always do that later. So you can remove it for now. So with the very first 4 columns being the mandatory ones, then save your options, save your file, upload the file in TalentLMS, just drag and drop it into the dedicated area in the import section and click on import. That's it. That's done. Now your users are uploaded on TalentLMS. But we have created the users, right? So we have created the courses. We have organized everybody in their dedicated branch or group. And now we watch them take training. And of course, with training, we need to see results. This is what we all anticipating for, to be able to measure the success of our training. And for that, TalentLMS has a robust reporting system. And what you can see here, pretty much everything. As an admin, you can see every detail about your users and their progress in your account. What I'm going to show you today, though, is a few features related to reports that can help you navigate the reports. At the end of the day, we are just getting started. We are just setting up your account. So I'm sure that you will not have already measurable data there. But what I want you to focus today is the features that will make your reporting much more intuitive. So let's get onto the reports. And the very first thing that you see is the overview. The training overview is a way that you can see at a glance what's happening in your portal. And in all of the reports that you see on the right side, that being user reports, course reports, branches, groups, test reports, assignment reports, and a lot more, in all of those reports, same as the overview, you will have a green button that will allow you to export the report. So all of the reports will be exported if you want in Excel format. So you can export the reports, and at the same time, you can schedule the report. If you're following along, feel free to click on the little arrow that you see next to the export button, and there you can click schedule. What does this do? It makes your life very easy by not having to visit and share a report with stakeholders every day. So you can select, for example, this report, the training overview that we are working on today now. So you can click on the schedule. You can adjust with the slider the amount of time that you would like to receive it. For example, every 1 week, let's say. And then from the drop-down, select which day. I'm going to say Friday. And if I click schedule, I can receive the report in my mailbox. If you want to share the report, though, absolutely click on custom recipients, add the email addresses of the people you want to receive the reports. And I'm going to just add two email addresses here of two of our senior leadership. There we have them. And if you also want to receive the report alongside with them, add your own email address as well. Now, click schedule. And based on the setup that I have here, every single Friday, you and the two senior leadership members will receive that report. Don't worry, everything is best as say. So nobody will ever be able to see who else is taking that report. Now, there are reports about all aspects of your training here. For example, learner participation in courses, test reports with detailed data about how the user scored, and a lot more. But I'll let you explore those at your own time. And now let's see together the training metrics. This is one of the reports that has been very popular in our feature request, and this is how we delivered it. So we got your idea and turned it into a feature. So in the training matrix, you have the option to see the users on the left, the course on the top, and everything is color coordinated. So if a box is white, light gray if you want, it indicates that the user doesn't have the course. If the box is blue, the user has taken the course but not started doing the course. So they are assigned, enrolled into the course, but not started watching the content. If it's orange, the course is in progress. So you can see the amount of progress if you hover on it that the user has achieved. Or you also have the option to display the percentage on the box. And if a box is green, happy days, the user has successfully passed that course. If it's red, tough luck, the user was not very lucky this time. So that is the training matrix, and of course you can export and you can schedule exactly like this, like the other reports that we saw. Now, we looked at the settings, we looked at the courses, we looked at how you can deliver the training that you created and how you can measure results. But what if you would like to get started with a couple of courses that are already ready-made without you having to do anything, just ready to be delivered? And of course, alongside those courses, you can always create your own content. If this is something that you would like to look into, then let me show you TalentLibrary. TalentLibrary is a growing collection of ready-made courses in English and in Spanish, and they are focused on the power skills that everybody in a modern workplace should know. And we're talking about soft skills, teamwork, leadership, and a lot more. TalentLibrary was created from TalentLMS in 2020, and since then, it is growing all the time. And the TalentLibrary courses are ready to use. They are intuitive. They have characters that you will find familiar and you will be able to connect with them as you take the training. And they are available exclusively through TalentLMS. So you won't find them anywhere else. One thing that is very important here to know is that we keep adding on that collection. We didn't just create it and let it go. We keep adding to that collection every single quarter. So 4 times per year, you should be able to find courses in the TalentLibrary that are new, updated, and of course, they touch broad topics about skills that everybody, to be very fair, should have today if they want to be part of a successful team. One thing that I would like to also suggest is to have a look at TalentLibrary. Of course, you can add TalentLibrary to your subscription, and once you add TalentLibrary to your subscription, then you won't have to do anything else. You just add the subscription and you don't have to worry about the new course that we add. You will have access to all the courses that we add, provided that you have just added TalentLibrary to your subscription once. And the courses that you find there, they're about 15 to 20-minute courses. They are in SCORM formats, and you will be able to also have a quiz, a knowledge check in the courses, so that way you will be able to test the knowledge of your people from that training without having to create anything else your own. TalentLibrary courses are self-sufficient, and they will be able to train and test the knowledge of people that take them. Now, you might want to test it out. I'm with you on this one. I would also like to get a preview before adding TalentLibrary to my account. Therefore, we are offering a 14-day trial. This is for you, so that way you will be able to have a glimpse of what TalentLibrary can offer. Send us an email. The email is on the chat right now, trainingteam@talentlms.com, and we will be able to add you to an account where you can see all of the TalentLibrary courses. And the good thing about it is that you will be added as a learner. So you will have exactly the same experience as your own learners will have if you add TalentLibrary to your account. So you stand in their shoes, you see exactly what Talent Library offers, and then you will also be able to make a decision and, of course, add Talent Library to your subscription. I know that we had a lot of questions during this session, so the team behind the scenes, the team in the Q&A has done a brilliant job, and we would like to invite you to ask us more questions by email. So if you would like, please send us an email. That is trainingteam@talentlms.com, and we will be able to answer your questions by email as long as you get in touch with us. And one question for you. There is a survey link now on the chat. Please take a minute to complete the survey. It takes a couple of seconds, to be fair, less than a minute, and we would love to know your feedback. This is very important for us as we want to deliver webinars that you would like to watch. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Eirini, for being part and helping out with the session.
Thank you, Theo, and thank you all for joining us today.
And we wish you happy training. And of course, we are here to help and answer any questions. Feel free to join our future sessions and see more at talentlms.com/webinars. We're here to help, and we're here to help you get started with TalentLMS.